Greetings, my fellow Saratogians, and welcome to Saratoga in Shutdown, a video series dedicated to discussing the effects of the coronavirus pandemic on the Saratoga community. If you'd like to contact us, if you feel like you have some pertinent information or you'd like to be a guest, contact us at news@spacityreview.com. Tonight, I'm joined, as always, by Megan Zyme. Megan, how are you doing?
I'm good, Pete. How are you?
Good, good. Everything has been quiet on this end, so all is well. No news is good news from the household here.
Yeah, agreed. So, Pete, tonight we have with us Reisa Marlowe, who is the owner-operator of Saratoga Lashes and Skincare in Ballston Spa. Reisa and I have a personal connection because I have been seeing Reisa for lashes and facials and microblading and good stuff that makes me feel pretty since 07. So for a while, right? We've known each other for a while.
Long time, yes.
And so Reese's here to talk to us tonight about how her business has been affected by this pandemic.
And,
well, as you, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. If I can just jump in, it's so great to have you here because our focus so far has been on how this has affected restaurant workers and restaurant owners, but there is such a large segment of the community that depends on what you do for their income, be it a cosmetologist, an esthetician, or a hairstylist. That represents a lot of people in this community. Even if it's not their primary job, it does provide a large source of their income, and that is completely shut down right now.
Absolutely, we are totally shut down. I've been closed since Friday the 13th, yeah, we are completely shut down. We cannot see people because it's one-on-one, and we're, so close to, so when we work so close to someone, it would be really hard. We're way within that 6-foot distance apart. So yeah, no way to put on eyelashes when you're not about 1.5 feet away from somebody.
So what are you doing to try to manage your situation? What are you doing since you can't actually work right now?
Sure. So, I had a little bit of an advantage. Just before this happened, I was going on vacation. So that first week, I wasn't going to be around anyway. So that was kind of nice because I didn't have this like panic feeling when it first happened, which I think that a lot of people had a real panic feeling when this first happened, because it's sort of an unheard of thing. We're not used to being shut down. We're not used to being told we have to stay in. This is just such a completely different thing for everybody. So what have I been doing? I've been doing a lot of things around at my business that I normally don't have the time to necessarily do. I have been in the midst of a redecorating. Timing is everything, but my business is coming up on 15 years, being 15 years old. Which I'm really happy about, and I love it. And so we've been redecorating. So we're still working on that. So that's been really great. But I'm also in between that, I've also been, still practicing my skills, still working with trainers, looking at courses. I'm continuing my education so that I don't get, sort of rusty, which I don't think I would at this point. But, I think a lot of people in the business are doing this. There's been a lot of outreach within these trades, whether it's cosmetology or permanent makeup or aesthetics, where other practitioners and trainers are reaching out to each other and either giving trainings for reduced cost or free in some cases. So that's been really nice. But I've also, sorry, go ahead.
No, fine, totally fine. It's awesome to see that sense of community, amongst people that are, especially locally, right? Sometimes you kind of have this not competition necessarily, but there's only so many people that are having services done, and so you're all, it's just under competing for those customers. You've had your business for 15 years, so you're a well-established
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
name in the area. What do you think is how do you think that is different from the people that have maybe are just learning or just starting out or just starting to get into it? I mean,
sure,
affect them
I
more, right?
I think it would be more difficult. It's okay. So I think that in ways it's more difficult, in ways it's less difficult. In the less difficult way is that you're not used to seeing the same amount of people that I am, or the same amount of income. You may not depend upon that as your sole income, right? Whereas I do. But on the positive side, some people are worrying. They're just starting their business and building up their clientele. And now they're afraid that they're going to lose their clientele. I've seen people doing some practices that I think are not going to be great for them. I don't think people should be giving away their services in order to try to maintain their clients. Or I think that if your clients like what you do and you do a good job and there's a great relationship there, your clients will be there for you when we come back, when we resume. I really try not to go into the gloom and doom philosophy with all of this. I think that really positive things can come out of it. Life may be a little different, but sometimes, change is good, right? We can get better things from that. So I think that, we've got to be careful as practitioners about what we're willing to do. For example, I mean, I'm working on a few different specials that I'm offering for microneedling and things like that, so that we can look forward to a time when we can get back to working on our skin or, doing nice things for ourselves. But I've also seen some practitioners who are literally, they are putting kits together for their clients to be able to do things at home that are professional services, like waxing, like henna brows, or tinting their eyebrows. And I think that, that's not a great thing to do.
Right.
Do you mean to be putting together those kits to send to their customers so they can do these things at home? That's not the best idea.
No, because for a number of reasons. First of all, we're licensed. I'm licensed to do this, but I'm not licensed to give people things that they can do to themselves. They're not licensed. I think that there can be legal problems with that. You have to be licensed to use these things. So I don't know if it's a great idea that way, number one. And number two, I think for these practitioners, if you teach somebody, if you're providing a service that you then can teach somebody to do, maybe they'll come back, but maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be happy with doing it. I don't know, but I think
wise, maybe it's a bad idea.
Yeah, definitely legal wise, I think it's tough.
So I'm definitely getting your take on this. Is that just because we're in a shutdown and it's scary for hairstylists and estheticians and cosmetologists, don't give away the store and start rushing and panicking and trying to bring in some small income or no income, just trying to keep your contacts.
Yes.
Don't give away everything. Hold tight and weather the storm.
I think so. And I think that your business will still be there, that we will go back. People's businesses will still be there. It's still going to be, a service that your customers are going to want and going to want to come back to. And I think that as far as this goes, so let me give you an example. So some people are selling gift certificates for the businesses way, way, way reduced. Okay. Now, let's say this is a person who's a new practitioner. So now when they come back, when we go back, all those services that they're going to perform, they're not, in essence, they've already been paid for, and use that money, I'm sure, for like whatever was going on then, which is fine. But then what's going to happen when they come back and the income has already been used? So, I mean,
In theory, you could have someone who sold gift certificates at a greatly reduced price during this shutdown. When the shutdowns ends, that could put them in a situation where they're working for a month and they've already spent the money from those gift certificates.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what concerns me. Yeah.
Okay.
I would hate to see somebody do that.
Sorry. So to that end, though, I know that and I can't speak to your business as much as, or your industry as much as I can, the one that I work in, but I know that for restaurant workers, service industry people, there are certain grants, programs, all sorts of different resources that are available to us to try to help us stay afloat during this time. The same probably goes for you. What is available to you?
There are lots of industry, I don't know, lots, but there are definitely industry-wide, industry-specific grants and loans available, as well as small business loans. The CARES Act just came through last Friday, I believe, and that details a number of things, including there is an emergency disaster loan for small business owners. There is also a paycheck protection program, the PPP, which is available to people who are small business owners, as well as sole proprietors, to cover things like mortgages, rent, utilities, payroll for a small business. So that's really helpful for those people. And I was just noticing today that there are grants available through some of the vendors that I work with. And, they're smaller grants than these other grants, but, $1,000 is $1,000, and that can go a long way.
Have you tried to avail yourself of any of these resources? Because what I've heard from some other small business owners is the system is clogged up right now.
It is pretty horrendous. I actually did get through. So one of the things that has come about, which is a complete breakthrough, is that unemployment insurance is now available to sole proprietors and 1099 contractors, which normally this is not. Okay. So I was able to, you go up online, you have to go up online and start your application, and then you can finish your you need to finish your application over the phone. In order, I actually did eventually get through, but it's been, it was impossible. I probably called over 300 times, and my fiance is has still not gotten through. And
Wow.
I know. And I was hoping when I was on the phone that the person I was speaking to, who was a very nice gentleman, I would be able to give the phone to him, say I have somebody else, but he wasn't able to do that. So yes, it is very difficult. I know other people who cannot get through this. So that's that. Number two, as far as the loans, the disaster loan, you can go up and apply for online, and I have. I believe that's the EIDL. There are other loans available through the Small Business Administration and your bank that you have some kind of relationship with, like, a bank where you do your business checking, your business credit card, and these loans are supposedly going to be becoming available. However, it's like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and yes, it's very confusing right now. with that EIDL loan through the Small Business Administration. They were supposed to be able to get the money to you in 3 days. It is now a week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
When Megan and I had done the previous episode, we were talking about how the resources that are going to be available, the federal aid that's going to be available to restaurant workers, looked good and it sounded good. And I was relieved in that the programs that are set up seem strong enough that it will get people through a few months. But now, after that episode and talking to some people, just the unemployment system seems to be jammed up, and I don't know that many people who have been able to actually start receiving these benefits. So you're telling me, as a small business owner, the situation is the same. You're not sure when that relief is coming.
I'm not sure when that relief is coming.
Yeah.
And it seems that some of the rules and regulations around it have been changing, like they're saying this and then it seems to be that. And, look, it's like an unheard of thing. I don't think anybody was really prepared for this. Any of these organizations, although you think that, disaster insurance and blah, 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 it's just like, I went up on the FEMA site because there's disaster grants available, or they say there are disaster loans available on the FEMA site, but but when you click on the FEMA site, it brings you back to the Small Business Administration site, and it says it's supposed to be also for individuals to be able to pay their mortgages or rents. But there's no application. When you click on that, it's just the application for small business. So I think some of this is just sort of playing out in real time, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. So Reisa, earlier you were talking about some of the maybe less successful ways of trying to maintain your client base. Can you maybe talk about some positive ways that you can sort of try to maintain your customers?
Absolutely. So one great way that you can keep in touch with your clients, and I've seen other practitioners doing this, and I have done this as well, is to create tutorials for your clients and even prospective clients, right? To sort of fill in the gap of the things that they're missing in their life. So, for example, I did a tutorial on how to do your brows. Now, it's something that I offer as a service, right? Someone can come in and I teach them we think it sounds easy how to do your brows, but actually people have a very hard time with this, knowing like, where should it start? Where should it end? How much do I fill in? Where do I fill it in? Right? So this is something that I normally do as a service. So now what I did was I taped myself doing it as a tutorial, free. But, if I was actually talking about in that particular tutorial, a particular product that I was using, which is phenomenal. It's a waterproof, sweat-proof, lasts 24 hours, cream to powder. It's a great product. So yes, somebody can certainly get in touch with me and get that product. I'm happy to, mail it out to them, or they can pick it up on my porch or what have you, and we can maintain the distance and all that. But other practitioners are doing that as well. Whether it's a makeup tutorial, whether it's a styling tutorial, a product tutorial. Like I've been thinking about doing a tutorial on, how do I take care of my skin? What do I do in the morning? What do I do at night? Because, I think that's really helpful. And, to fill these days when people feel a little lost and sort of out of sorts of the normal day-to-day things. So I think that those types of things of doing tutorials are a great way to keep in touch with your clients. Also, I really have been just reaching out to my clients who have been on the book. I have a book with clients still on the book. And I'm just, as the days come up, I'm reaching out to those people who are on the next day's schedule, 2 days, and saying hello and seeing what's going on with them. I really, I love my clients. And so, and I'm sure other practitioners, we love our clients, right? And so the great thing is that we can reach out. And I think then, if you have that bond and you have that feeling between you, the practitioner and the client, then that, that's something that's there, right?
I think
Reisa,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pete.
Reisa, can we put up a link to those tutorials?
Um, that's a good question, Pete. I don't know if I have a specific one, but they can be found on either my Facebook page or my Instagram page. Both of those are under Saratoga Lashes and Skincare. So it's just at Saratoga Lashes and Skincare, and it's up there. And so if you just go to my Facebook page for the business, Saratoga Lashes and Skincare, so it's facebook.com/Saratoga Lashes and Skincare, or, on Instagram, instagram.com/Saratoga Lashes and Skincare, you can just scroll through and you will see that tutorial. It's not too far back, pretty easy to find. You can see that tutorial for how to figure out where your brows should be.
Reisa, on behalf of the Spa City Review, we really want to thank you here for telling your story during the shutdown. So on behalf of Megan Zyme, I'm Peter Burley. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you'd like to contact us at news@spacityreview.com.